Hello and welcome back to Chasing Green Arrows. Today I have a full cast with me. As usual, my co-host, Mr. Abrar Aziz. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I'm good. Arsenal won. You guys lost. It's a good day in the market. We just got Thomas Partey. It's Partey time.
Looks very excited. and with me as well, Mr. Zohair Khan, who's promoted to co-host as well, apparently. But yeah, what's up, man? How are you?
Oh man, I'm good. I've been looking forward to seeing Donny all weekend, man. All weekend.
Props for you to coming on the show. Like, I mean, after yesterday, respect.
Listen, I'll tell you something. I've embraced being a clown since United is a circus, you know. So we're good.
I love you, Zo. At least you're being honest over here.
Yeah,
and I have with me as well my brother, Mr. Yusuf Ismail. Bhaiya, how are you doing?
Same as Zohar, doing okay, but I'm more bleak than him. So I think basically we're going to be like Arsenal for the next 13 years, but let's hope we're not.
Oh man, listen. None of this. I don't need this negativity in my life right now, okay? Go wash your mouth with soap.
So I mean, I wanted to really talk about the big game of the week, which was Aston Villa versus Liverpool, but we'll get to that in another episode. But now we promised everyone we're going to talk about the United versus Spurs 6-1 spanking at Old Trafford. Don, I'll start with you. We'll do the player ratings this week. So I'll ask you for the Spurs player ratings, and my brother will ask Zoya about the United one. So I mean,
I just want to let everyone know, just like an Arsenal fan forever. I'm just doing it because Musti's asked me nicely, and he pays me well for this. So I'm just doing it for that reason. Otherwise, there's no reason for me to do this.
I just want to make a counterpoint that even though his team won, he's still ashamed to wear the shirt without covering it up. I just want to make
no, bro, it's cold. It's cold. They've turned off the heater in my apartment. I don't know what's going on. It's cold.
Bro, set your jersey on fire.
Nah, man. Keep it open. I'll be cold.
So, Don, I wanted to ask you, quickly before we get into the player ratings, I just want to ask you a quick question. So, your thoughts on Spurs' performance overall? They showed that the greatest team in North London. Amazing performance. Six goals. At the Theatre of Dreams. They made it the Theatre of Nightmares. Sonaldo, Harry Kane, King Harry, everyone killing it right now. So your initial thoughts on the Spurs performance?
I'm gonna try and be unbiased in this whole podcast. I'm gonna try and not get carried away with these kind of statements. We all know who's the best team in London. It's Arsenal Football Club. It was red. It is red. It will be red. But coming back to Tottenham, they definitely had a good performance. Very, very clinical. They got some chances. They finished it off. It helped that United were really bad. To be very honest, their defense was shambolic. They were all over the place. Some of the goals that they got, I mean, just shocking defending. Harry Maguire is trying to head it to his other defending partner instead of heading it to David De Gea. It was just too much going on. But yeah, credit to Tottenham. They made the most. They still have to score those 6 goals, and they did a decent job. I mean, pretty good. After in the first couple of minutes, when there was a clumsy challenge by Sanchez, I thought, and then Fernandes came and scored his goal.
So called it last week, remember?
He did actually. So
I saw it, and I was just like, perfect. The game's ours.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought too. I thought it was going to finish. I thought it was going to be a United game. I thought they'd just be able to take care of it, but I mean, man, it turned around quickly after that. So
yeah, and then even though they're leading 2-1, that red card helped a lot as well.
Absolutely.
You could see that maybe they wouldn't have scored as many goals, but definitely that was United's mistake.
There has to be some kind of thought process behind using VAR so openly, like with the handballs and with these kind of challenges. There just has to be a little bit more clarity as to how they want to go forward with it, because right now there's a lot of question marks over how the VAR is being used.
So you'd agree that was really soft. I mean, listen, you want to give Tony a red, but you got to give Lamela a red as well.
Yeah, no, I think it was soft. That's what I'm saying. It was soft. I thought it was soft for sure. Because Lamela kind of instigated him. So that was the reason that he went off. It's just not like he just went to try to slap him for no reason at all. But Lamela instigated him. So that's kind of what it was. You should have given both a red, or you should have given him a yellow, just given him a warning or something of sort, right? I just felt like it was a soft red card for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And Don, we'll get into the player ratings now. We'll start with Hugo Lloris.
Yeah, apart from just that early penalty, he hardly had much to do, unfortunately. Like, he didn't have much to do at all. So I have to be fair. I have to give him a 7. He didn't do much. He was just sitting and chilling over there. So I just give him a 7 on that one.
And Aurier got a lot of stick in the recent past, but contributed with a goal and assist in the game. So your
And he defended well, honestly. I thought he defended well. I thought whatever little they were trying to get from the left side. I mean, it helped that Martial got a red card, so he had little lesser to do per se. But whatever he needed to do, I think he did it pretty clinically. I think he was the better defenders out there today. So I'll give him an 8 because of the goal and the assist. Also, I think I give him an 8.5. I think he did a pretty good job.
If that was Bellerin, you'd give a 10. But yeah, 8.5.
I mean, he's a poor man's Bellerin, So I'm just saying.
Yeah, 8.5 for Aurier, and then moving on to Devin Sanchez.
Devin Sanchez was clumsy. I mean, it was a clumsy challenge to bring down the United player, but it was just apart from that, he didn't do much wrong. But I think I have to dock off a point for that clumsy challenge. So give him a 6.5. I think if he didn't make that challenge, I thought he did okay other than that. So I would have given him a 7.5 if he didn't make that stupid error. But because of that, 6.5 or maybe 7 if I'm trying to be fair to him.
So you're saying 7?
7, yeah, that's
7. And Eric Dyer, he's playing a centre back.
I think he marshaled the back line pretty well. I think he did a very good job of. He seemed vocal. He didn't have to go to the bathroom, so it really helped. He seemed vocal. Everything was good. So I think just because of that, I think I'll just give him a. I think he was pretty good. I think 8 on 10, a decent performance by him.
Yeah, and new signing Rulakon.
He looks solid, man. He was looking very menacing moving forward. He looked okay defensively. It felt a little tired towards the end maybe, but I think he's going to be good for Tottenham. It's a very good signing for them. So another 8 on 10 I think for him.
8 on 10. And moving on to, I don't know how you pronounce his name, but Hojberg.
I have no idea, but he had a very good game.
Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Yeah, Hojberg. So, yeah,
he wishes.
Don't
take everything personally, bro.
But yeah, I'm sorry about the pronunciation, but I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. He had a very, very good game. I think he was the star. I mean, yes, Kane and Son provided the goals, but I think he really marshaled the midfield. He did very good defensively, attacking wise. He was pretty good. I think I'll give him a 9 on 10.
9 on 10. Okay. And then Musa Sissoko.
Sissoko again, very good game. He was looking threatening whenever he moved forward. He was able to really bring move the game forward. I mean, yes, United were having issues kind of handling him to an extent, but I think he had a very good game again. I think 8 on 10 for him as well.
8 on 10 for Sissoko and Ndombele.
Again, I mean, I keep mentioning this again and again. I think United made this Tottenham side look a lot better than they are, and it didn't help. But I think again, Ndombele also had a very good game. He was able to bring the forwards. If you notice throughout the game, the forward line didn't have to come back too much because the midfield was doing a good job at pushing the ball forward, and they could do what they needed to do in the front line and actually be clinical and finish off those goals. And so that's kind of what I felt, and I think that's why again another 8 on 10 performance for Ndombele.
8 on 10, and the man who's probably the most hated guy in Manchester right now, Lamela. You could see that Jose influence kind of, right? That was kind of like a Jose tactic kind of thing. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think so. I think like I said again, it was a very soft decision. I don't think it should have been a red card, or at least both of them should have got yellows, or both of them should have gotten reds. And he didn't play for 2. I mean, he got off in the second half, early in the second half, I think. So
he did the job by then.
He did the job. So that extra half point I will give him just because he did that job. So I think a 7 on 10 for him.
7 on 10 for Lamela, and for Sonaldo.
I mean, dude, he's so clinical. He's just so good. He's been scoring goals for fun right now. At least I think he's already on 7 or 8 goals this season. I think 2
something ridiculous, man.
4 and the other day, 2 yesterday is just quite crazy. So
mind games by Mourinho. We didn't think he was going to start Son, but he said there was a surprise, and I think that was the surprise. But
and he did a damn good job. I mean, he was clinical and just right place at the right time, and his finishing has improved leaps and bounds, I think. So I'll give him a 9 on 10. He was very good.
9 and 10 for Son. And then lastly, Harry Kane.
Yeah,
Like what? The best striker he's the best striker in the Premier League, man. You gotta give him that.
he wishes. But yeah, he was very good. That pass to Son to get that goal right in the beginning when Son the early free kick that they took, that the presence of mind for that, that's quite immense. I mean, that just with trying to be very very unbiased, hats off to him for that.
The connection looks really good this season.
Yeah,
even in Southampton, against Southampton, he gave 4 assists. So I mean, their connection looks really good this season.
Absolutely, and that's really something for Spurs to be excited about, because they're looking good. A long-term injury to either of them would be a big problem, though.
Like
But
last year.
but I think for right now, I think they're looking pretty good. And again, another solid performance by Harry Kane. Scored, assisted, he did whatever was needed. 9 on 10.
9 on 10. So you're giving Son and Kane 9 on 10. And lastly, just their bench. If you just want to quickly give me numbers for Ben Davis.
Ben Davis, he was tidy when called upon. He did a decent job. 7 on 10 for him.
7 on 10. Dele Alli.
Ben Davis also was the guy. It was the reason they got the goal. So I think he created that goal chance as well for them. So yeah, Dele Alli, I don't.
He won the penalty for the 6th goal.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't do much he was in the middle, but for like the 15-20 minutes that he was on, I think he tried as much as he could, but there wasn't, he didn't have that much of an impact. So again, I think 6.5 on 10 just for the 20 minutes that he played.
Yeah, and Lucas Mora.
Again, he was threatening whenever he kept moving forward for that halftime, for the half of the game. Pretty decent job. 7 on 10.
7 on 10. That wraps up the Spurs ratings. I think fair ratings from Don.
I was very, very fair. I think I gave half a point extra just because I knew you guys would shit on me.
I saw the strain on your face, bro. Just trying to keep it together. I gotta be unbiased. I gotta be fair.
When I said Harry Kane, he was like thinking Aubameyang. I know that.
His eyes started twitching.
Yeah.
he is a poor man's Aubameyang.
Oh no.
Okay then.
But I mean,
propaganda.
But yeah, now we'll move on probably to the more crazy part of this player rating,
which is the more fun part, which is what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, even I'm looking forward to it. Me and Don are gonna take a back seat, and my brother will be asking Zoe for the player ratings. But yeah, take it away, buddy.
So I'll be asking you to channel your inner like banter meme personality while you're responding to my questions regarding the ratings.
Man.
But because the ones you sent after the match are hilarious. But before we get into the ratings, I feel that even though we lost 6-1, at 2-1, it didn't feel like the red card had that much of an impact. We could have lost 4-1 even without a red card. Like that's how we were playing. I don't know. That's the kind of vibe that I got. What do you think?
So counter to that, I think that at 2-1 the game was open. Rashford hit the post. Had that gone in, that would have been 2-2. Very different game at that point in time. I think going forward, we looked decent. There were some good opportunities being carved up. There was some good link-up play happening between Bruno, Tony. Rashford was coming into it. But again, with a defense like that, there are no excuses. And what's really important for me is that, you can say that we went down to 10 men and that's why we conceded so many goals, but we lost Tony. We didn't lose a defender. We lost Martial. We still had our full back line. And the goals that we were conceding were schoolboy errors, clumsy, just mistakes upon mistakes. You don't expect this from any sort of back line at that level. I wouldn't expect this in Sunday League. So, it's worth, acknowledging what you're saying that, whatever the scoreline is, even before the red, with defending like that, they could have had us for so many.
I agree. So let's start with your boy, David, DDG. What do you think?
Oh, man, this always hurts me. I'm wearing this jersey today. So, look, man, Dave is Dave. Dave is honestly, he wasn't at fault for anything in this game, I think. He was rightly furious with his defenders for the calamity of errors that were, taking place in front of him. And as a goalie, you need to have some sort of chance. You need your guys to pull their weight. He came, he tried to do as good as he could when he was called upon, when it was a shot sort of scenario. He made a couple of decent saves, nothing spectacular. But at the end of the day, he was just consistently and constantly let down by the guys in front of him. And he had no chance with Tottenham ripping him apart. I want to give him higher, but, when you let in 6, I think this is pretty high, giving him a 4 on 10.
Fair enough. And speaking of the defensive issues, maybe not so much, but let's start with Aaron Wan-Bissaka. How do you think he played?
So Aaron was pretty much the highlight for the defensive line for me. I thought that he probably acquitted himself the best. Again, you let in 6, there are no excuses. Everyone is to blame. But I think what he was doing on an individual level, from an effort level, was probably one of the few bright spots in the team. Because other than that, it was depressing, it was dismal, it was gloomy. But just to inject a little bit of cheer, let's give Aaron a 5.
Okay, I think that's a fair assessment considering the shambles that was the rest of the 3 players. So starting with Eric Bailly, who was brought in because Lindelof was pretty pathetic in the last match, and I don't think he really acquitted himself at all and was responsible for maybe 2 goals, probably
So
3.
I think Eric. Again, I have a soft spot for Eric, so it pains me to give him the score that I'm going to give him. I thought he did well in batches, in parts. He was definitely the better of our 2 center backs by a country mile. But again, a lot of mistakes made. The ping pong game being played with him and Maguire for the first goal was just, my anxiety shot through the roof, mate. Just through the roof. You could power generators with the amount of stress I was generating. So just that, the falling asleep on the second on the Harry Kane quick free kick, brilliant free kick routine, by the way, great run by Son. But at the end of the day, if Maguire is sleeping on that one, the responsibility falls on him to cover. It's unfair, but it is his responsibility to cover. He didn't, and Son was able to skin him and Shaw. So not to beat a dead horse, but I'll give him a 3.5.
All right, I would have given him maybe a 3, 2.5, but anyway, I'm negative generally. Before I ask for a rating for Harry Maguire, what's the rating you'd give him for tackling Luke Shaw and holding his T-shirt on that second or third goal?
I think that if that had been an opposition player, I'd say great physical play. I don't know what this guy's thinking, man. It's, his brain's still in Greece. We got Maguire back, but the cops still have his brain on lockdown. Zero football IQ, man. Zero football IQ. Calamitous positioning. Okay, listen, everybody knows he's not a quick guy, and he knows he's not quick. No one's pretending that he's fast, but if you're not fast, man, come on, get your positioning right. Make sure you're getting ready to make interceptions. You're pressuring people off the ball. Don't try to do what you're doing.
It's getting your position right, like you said. Like if he doesn't have the pace, it's fine. Get your positioning right. That's very important.
Bro, it's like we bought this 80 million pound fridge and forgot to plug it in.
That is the comment of the podcast. There has to be some kind of it has to be highlighted in some way. If you can do that, it needs to happen.
Oh my god, yeah,
that's gonna be the name of the section.
Yeah, I mean, he was terrible, man, at fault for pretty much everything. He was sleeping on the quick free kick routine. Like I already said, the ping pong header between him and Bailly, what was that, bro? Just clear the ball. Getting megged on the Aurier pass. Like, what's going on over here? Tackling Shaw, just abysmal. I mean, I don't know, man. I want to give him a 2, a 1.5, 2, I guess. I mean, negative scores would be valid at this point, but I'll give him a 2 out of 10.
And what do you think about the victim of this crime, Luke Shaw?
Oh, man. Luke Shaw, bro, man, I've been a big supporter of his. I think I'm still sold on his pre-leg break hype. He was decent going forward today. The thing is, he gets forward, but then he doesn't really have much of an end product. But he can make good short passes in the middle and final third. But just defensively today, again, man, constantly being pulled out of position, huge gaps being left down his flank for Tottenham to run into. And you can't be doing that. Like, I get, you do have pace, you can cover, you can fix your mistakes, but you cannot leave that much open ground for a Tottenham team that's already, feeling themselves, they're rampaging through you, and you're just giving them more and more space to run through. That's ridiculous. I think that's just poor, football IQ, not really, knowing how to keep your place and just lacking composure. And, it was just a bad performance overall. I'd give him a 3 out of 10.
And unfortunately, to continue this negative horse bashing, beating it past its death into the afterlife. Hi, Lisa.
That needs to be highlighted too, man. This is so much fun. It just keep them coming. Lisa's enjoying this as much as I am, I think.
Oh, absolutely. She was telling me earlier, she's like, oh, yo, listen, you're an idiot. Not you, me.
I can't wait for these next few.
Who are we doing first for midfield, bro?
Bro, it doesn't make a difference, but let's say Matic, because I think
Okay,
it's
so
M before P.
I guess you want good news before bad. All right.
Yeah.
Well, like, what do you want me to say over here, man? We got overrun. There wasn't much to be positive about. I think for Matic, especially given that he was withdrawn at halftime, very limited body of work to review over here. I think, again, we can split that into two. Pre-red card, I thought he was decent. He was trying his best against a, vigorous Spurs midfield. But again, Matic is getting older. He's not the quickest guy around. Great, great sense of where to be and how to make those interceptions. He's got wonderful passing range. But again, I think we need to be more, cognizant of what sort of games he's suited for, and make sure he's not being left without support, or make sure he's got someone to help him out. And he didn't today. He tried to do the best job that he could out of that. I gave him a 5 out of 10. It might be a little generous, but I thought he was okay.
All right, and Paul Pogba.
Uncle Paulie, man, this is my guy over here. This is my part-time footballer, full-time influencer, bro. This guy, bro. This guy kills me. This guy kills me. I'm telling you, bro.
Think of the talent, bro. Think of the talent. Think about it.
Bro, honestly, I saw a really great meme the other day. They called him the complete myth fielder because he is a complete myth at this point in time. Bro, how long has he been on United? 4 years, 5 years, whatever the case is. I've seen him play consistently. If I were to string together all of his good games, maybe like 3/4 of a season at most. Yeah. Most times he's anonymous, man. He's just, I don't know what it is, bro. It's just like he's got all the talent in the world, but he just doesn't think straight. He tries to hold on to the ball for too long. I don't think he knows what sort of player he wants to be. I don't think he knows what his best position is himself. And he kind of tries to do a little bit of everything and doesn't really do any of it well.
I don't think any manager has had the guts to play him behind the striker, which maybe that's his position, right? Give him that freedom to run around. It's like they always pigeon him in a defensive midfield position, right? So
they pigeonhole him in a defensive midfielder position because it's the same thing like they did with Yaya Toure. They look at his physical stature. They're like, this guy's 6'3", he's strong, he's quick, he's a big dude. He has to he has to shoulder some defensive responsibilities. But I don't even think it's that. I think I don't even look at the defensive side of his game, which is terrible. What I'm looking at is what he's bringing to moving the ball around, creating opportunities, and more often than not, he's just half a second to a second slow on the ball. He takes too long on the ball, and he ends up, putting himself in a less than stellar situation. He loses the ball a lot because of that. I thought if he gets rid of it more often, you don't always have to make the spectacular pass. You don't always need to hold on to it and pull some sort of move. You can just make a simple pass and get rid of it. And I think he doesn't do that enough. He was terrible this game. He conceded the penalty. He was sleeping for Aurier's goal as well. I think giving him a 3.5 would be generous.
Just a quick comment over here. Just a quick question. If we do, guys, a realistic question. I'm not gonna mess around, but I think
that's a big preamble.
With Paul Pogba, we all know he's talented, right? We all know that he has a talent of. I mean, he's probably one of the most talented people, but he doesn't get those results, or he doesn't produce that talent on show frequently. Do you think a lot of that has to do with the managers that he has been with? Do you think like someone like a Klopp or someone like a Arteta or someone like that, who are these kind of managers who can really sit him down, make him understand his role, and then play him day in day out in that position and expect that kind of level from him? Specifically a Klopp, who's probably the best manager right now. Would you think that someone like that can really change him? Because Ole is having his own issues. Ole is trying to do a lot, and he's struggling with a bunch of other things as well. Maybe he doesn't have the time for that. So you think that he would be better off under someone like a Klopp or for that matter a Zidane or someone like that? Do you think that would work out?
I think for me with Pogba, man, the issue is that, listen, he did well at Juventus, but he was surrounded by a really good team, well coached and everything. I think Ole is a decent man manager. I think man management is probably one of Ole's strengths as compared to, let's say, like tactics or whatnot. He's not very nuanced in that sense. And if you look at Pogba's performance in the first half of last season, in the second half, when Bruno came in, he was okay. He was decent. And I think the problem with Pogba is that he's good for bursts, but he can't, for whatever reason, and I do think it's a psychological issue, it's a mental issue, that he can't develop that consistency that really elevates him into the great player that everyone wants him to be. I think if he continues the way that he's going, at least on the basis of his United career, it's going to be one of those things where it's a question of what if. I think if he, maybe if he goes to a different team, there's different results. I can't say, but he's had the opportunity to play under some good managers. Like, you can't discount that Mourinho is a great manager. LVG didn't work out at United, but he's also got a solid track record. All these managers are solid managers, and there have been glimpses of his ability, but he himself, I feel, doesn't, like, for whatever reason, like, he'll play good for a couple of games and then he'll just switch off.
Yeah, I think
And
for
it just hurts
Juventus,
so much.
yeah, for Juventus, I think he slotted in perfectly into that system, and he played really well. United I think there's a reason Ferguson sold him, I think, in the first place, and there are issues, I feel. So he might do well in other teams, but I think Juventus was the perfect team at that time. But even if he goes to another club, I won't be surprised if he does well, but he might not as well. So I think it might just be the system, but yeah, it's difficult to say with this guy.
Yeah.
It remains
a little bit of a $1 million question that.
Yeah, or it could just be he's not working out at Old Trafford, because he did win the World Cup as well. So I mean, it's a $1 million question. But yeah,
moving on. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, it's all good. All good.
No, it's all good.
Good points. Yeah.
Let's say Bruno next.
Okay, Bruno, man, let's go. He's our crown jewel, I guess. Again, like I said, I mentioned it earlier, great link-up play with Tony for the first to win that penalty, to create that opportunity. Just lovely one-touch passing. Even later on, always looking for that smart probing pass. Took a shot on himself. Didn't really make much of it, but he's always focused. He's always committed, man. He's always trying to create something. He's not a passive player. I don't know if you guys heard of the rumors that there was a bust up between him and Harry Maguire at halftime, which is why he was taken off.
I was going to ask you about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think like, listen, if you're going to call people out, I think it's great. I think there's a way to go about it. He was like that at the came from Benfica or Porto? Benfica, right? No, Porto. Where did he come from?
Sporting.
Wow. Okay, yeah, the third club in Portugal.
Yeah.
So yeah, but like he had that reputation at Sporting as well, where people knew that he was the sort of guy that would tell you exactly how it is. He'd tell you straight. And there are players that can pull that off. Not to make outlandish comparisons. Kobe was that sort of guy. Kobe wouldn't cut you slack. If you sucked, he would let you know. He would let you know exactly how you sucked, why you suck, and what you should do to get better. And I think Bruno channels that same sort of energy. He's a competitor at heart. He's very committed, and he can't stand for. Listen, you cannot be good. You can have a talent deficiency, but you cannot not bring heart to the table. And I thought that's what was one of the biggest issues with United in this game against Tottenham. They didn't bring heart. They gave up very easily, especially after the red. You just saw them completely deflate, and I think that's what enraged him the most. Sure, the story in public is going to be that Ole wanted to bring on McTominay and Fred to shore up the midfield and just stop the bleeding. But at the same time, it's like you're taking him off because he himself was like, what, I'm not down for this. This is whack. I'm gonna go sit out the rest of the second half because you guys are terrible. You guys are not playing for the jersey, and I think it's a noble sentiment. I think we need more of that fire. Because otherwise this sort of passive stuff cannot stand. But all of that to say, man, like, won the penalty, like I said, created the chance to get the penalty as well by that quick interplay with Tony. I'd give him a 7 out of 10.
All right. If that was the case, I would have subbed off Maguire and put like Matic as central left because like I would have kept Bruno on the pitch if that was the case.
It doesn't bode. I mean, sorry to cut you off, Yusuf, but it doesn't bode well that after a pretty poor performance, you are also having these dressing room bust-ups. It's just nothing's looking good for United at this moment, and these things just add to the negativity that's already around at Old Trafford right now. So there's a lot that needs to be fixed and needs to be fixed quickly.
I think it's important to look. I think I look at it as a culture of accountability, and we haven't had that accountability for a while. So personally, let's see how it plays out. If it creates a toxic atmosphere, you don't want that. But if it helps people, understand that they need to do better, then I think that's a net win.
Cool. Let's go to Tony because he was probably the talk of the match, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, man, his slap game strong. But listen, Tony, man, he's looked a little anonymous these past couple of games. I thought he started brightly today against Tottenham. Good runs, good movement. Obviously, won us that penalty, and he won us that penalty because of the great interplay between him and Bruno that I was talking about. It's a shame that he got sent off. I think, we talked about it with Ebrar, and it's just to me, that's a really soft red, or either you got to send both off or you got to give him a yellow. Lamela went down in slow motion. This isn't some sort of Bollywood film. So I don't know, man. Like it obviously really hurt us to lose him, but again, I would have understood more that we didn't score anymore after Tony went off. It doesn't excuse what happened on the defensive side of things. I think it's fair to give Tony a 5.
All right, and Mustafa, go ahead.
5 minus 1 for the red card.
That's with the red, bro.
Oh, okay, 5. So 6 with the okay, fine.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
All right, his usual partner in crime who really didn't do that much today, Marcus Rashford.
Again, man, it's a tough spot to be in. I thought, especially after going down a player, we were definitely going to, eat it going forward and not be able to create as much. I think Rashford did the best that he could. He looked lively in the first half. Even in the second half when we had, a chance by mistake, it was Rashford getting into the Tottenham box in the first half for almost the second one that we scored, which came off the post. It was offside. But, just that sort of intent is really good to see. I think that's something that was missing with Rashford last season, to see him have that sort of close control and really be able to send defenders to the shops in that sort of tight space is a great sort of addition to his game if we can implement it consistently. We saw it against Brighton, we saw it against Tottenham, even though it was offside. So I think it'd be harsh to rate him too poorly. Again, you 8-6, come back to this. It's hard to give anyone a good score, but I think we have to sort of separate his performance from what was going on with stuff that he doesn't really have that much of a hand in. And he was okay, man. I think he was, had we stayed up to 11 men, I think it would have been interesting. He was looking good. I give him a 6 out of 10.
All right, and to round off the starting 11, the young lad Mason Greenwood, who seems to be a bit busy when on England duty, but that's another story.
That's it, man. Man can't stop scoring, bro. That's the problem. He can't stop scoring wherever he is. Listen, man, Mason, I like him, man. He's exciting. He's aggressive. He takes the ball on, and I think you need that. You need that sort of unpredictability, but someone just willing to bet on themselves and take that shot, because it makes defenses think. It makes people, you got to disrupt people's routines, right? And I think Mason does that with the sort of opportunities that he creates and takes. Not too much happening today, but still some positives to be taken away from it. I give him a 6 out of 10.
All right, and just give me a quick score for Fred and McTominay, and then I wanted to ask you about Van de Beek. Why is he not starting, and what's his score? Just wrap that up in like one sentiment, I guess.
I mean, Freddie and McTominay, you come on at the second half, you're there to stem the bleeding, but, we still concede 2 more goals. I think conceding 2 is better than conceding 4, but, still not much to be proud of from those guys. I thought it was a pretty mediocre sort of performance from both of them. I don't know, I'd give them like a 5.5 for both of those guys. And then with Donny coming on, so I'll give Donny a score first, and then I'll talk about, the question that you asked. So with Donny, man, like, I love the way he thinks. He's got quick feet. He's always trying to play people in. He's trying to, make those cute little passes that will unlock opposition defenses. He has the ability to break through, opposition lines as well. And that was on display today. He brings a lot of good stuff when he does come on. I have him at a 6 out of 10, which might be a bit generous because he's new, but whatever, it is what it is. And to answer your question about why Donny's starting off the bench, I think it's a question of acclimating to the new league, coming from the Dutch league. He hadn't played football for a while. Dutch league, I think they called it quits at the beginning of the pandemic, sort of thing. He hadn't played for a minute. No preseason for United as well, so gotta sort of get people ready to go. Integrate him into the tactics. And then the other thing is that the way that the team is currently set up, you're going to either start, it's going to be 2 of these 3. It's going to be 2 of Pogba, Fernandes, and Donny. And for whatever reason, Ole is persisting with Pogba and Fernandes as his main 2. I was telling Musti last time after the Carabao game that I hope that Pogba scoring this free kick doesn't give him a starting spot in this game, and that's exactly what happened. Because I would have preferred to see Donny and Bruno play together and see how that works out, and maybe have Pogba coming off the bench. But alas, we got Pogba starting and Donny off the bench. I think that's what it is, man. I think it's just a question of he wanted to give this Pogba Bruno partnership a chance. So far, it's been pretty abysmal, and then just give Donny some time to come in and ease him into it. New signing. You don't want to add too much pressure right away. That can negatively affect a lot of players.
Yeah. I think
Just a quick banter note. You said you wanted to integrate Donny into the tactics. What tactics?
I
Well, you
mean,
don't know. You don't know 10 men behind the ball and then break.
And just a quick last two questions for all of you. One is Tottenham now. I mean, big win gives them a lot of confidence. But Mourinho was at United. Now he's at Tottenham. Do you think the difference is that Levy is backing him? He's getting the players he wants. And do you think they will actually make top four because of this backing, which he didn't get at United? Done. Okay, he said no.
They're not making top four.
Okay, so let me answer that.
But he's getting the backing though, right? But he's
getting the backing, no doubt about that. And I think Mourinho is smart. I think when he took on the job, I'm pretty sure he would have made that very clear that he would need some kind of backing, because otherwise it wouldn't have made sense for him to take the job. And to remove, I still don't think that getting rid of Poch, it was a smart thing to do. I still think that Poch was their best manager that they've had so far, because Mourinho is your 2-3 seasons guy, man. He'll give you one. He might give you one trophy here and there, but he will disrupt that team and he will leave. I'm telling you, it's looking good right now. We'll talk in 18 months, it won't look that good. I can guarantee it. So that's kind of the issue with Mourinho. So but he is getting the backing. So there will be some good moments for Tottenham to move forward. Definitely.
If they get a trophy, then it's job done. I think. If they get a trophy,
I don't think they make the top four, because I mean the Liverpool's result makes everything very open now, but I still think that it's just a one-off for them, and I still think that there's a lot of competition with Everton, Leicester, all of them also looking good. It's going to be hard to make top four, and whoever makes it, kudos to them this season.
Sorry, you want to say something?
No, I think Don captured what I was trying to say. It's like in football, I think in recent years we've been very focused on the now. And when you kind of zoom back and you look at it, it's like, oh, Ole at the wheel. Like last season, we had like a patch of like amazing games. We finished third. There was this high. And then modern football brings you back to earth. It's like within the space of like 4 or 5 games, it's like, what the heck is happening? We want this guy out, right? So it's like we have short memories in football today. So like Tottenham played well today, and they have a chance on paper. But historically, Tottenham have not been consistent. They might come third or fourth in one season, but then they drop off massively. So for Tottenham, it's too early to call it, in my opinion.
Yeah, and just to wrap it up, Zoe, I'm not going to ask you a thought. It'll be more United-centric question. We saw, I think Yusuf hit the nail on the head about short memories. They did make top four last year, and they started off really badly last season as well, United. Like in October, November, they were probably 12th or 13th place. But after that, they did make that. I personally felt even when they made the Champions League that Ole should go. They need to get Pochettino in. But do you still feel this team with all the transfers done and everything, will they make top four?
You know what? It's hard to say, but I would want to say yes, they do. But the issue is, bro, I don't think it matters whether you bring in Pochettino, whether you bring in Klopp, whether you bring in Pep. It doesn't matter. This board doesn't back their managers. Listen, we brought in previously serial managers. You brought in Louis van Gaal. You can't discount his resume. We brought in Jose. You can't discount his resume.
So it's not, and then they didn't get back. That's the problem.
They didn't get back. It's been a consistent thing. They didn't get back. Our transfer business has been consistently poor. Sure, maybe these managers didn't fit at United either. It takes two to tango. But at the same time, I really do think that our board has been looking for instant results as opposed to, trying to actually fix the systemic issues at the club. And it still hasn't been done. And Ole, if Ole does get fired, I firmly believe that Ole is taking, he's the fall guy. He's the fall guy. The board is throwing him under the bus because it's easier to change the manager than to change everything else, to fix all those years and just try to go for a quick fix solution. I think with Jose, he's getting the backing he needs at Tottenham, especially in terms of signings this year. They're looking really good. I mean, I can't disagree with Don. There is the third year curse with Mourinho. So let's see what happens next season. Because even in his second year, he brought us up to second. Let's not discount that. He's got Tottenham playing well. People are making fun of him for playing for Harry Kane, playing him deeper. But look at what he's doing. Look at the destruction that he's causing by dropping a little bit deeper and getting his teammates involved. Again, like I said, I think that we need to back Ole properly. This is going to be his second full season. We need to back him properly and see what it is, and then decide in the summer what's up. But you can't hamstring your coach, not give him the tools, and then be like, we're going to swap him out. We're going to get someone else, and then do the same thing again and again.
Yeah, and the problem is he didn't get the tools. Like this summer, this transfer market, he should have got somebody like Sancho, should have got a center back. He probably wanted it, he probably demanded it, but he didn't get it. So, I mean, it's going to keep causing problems.
To me, the issue is not even about getting Sancho or whatever. whoever you want to get, have a defined list, have backup options, and get your transfer business done early. You can have some signings that take till later, but you can't be doing everything on transfer day. We're already this is game week 4 that passed, and now you have new signings coming in that you need to integrate into your squad. You need to have them catch up to the level of the Premier League. Cavani's coming from PSG. Or not even in PSG. He was out for the last year. So he hasn't been playing. He needs to get up to speed. Alex Telles playing in Portugal, different league. Again, not saying that one is better than the other, but like it's an adjustment period that you have to go through. Maybe you don't speak the language. There's a whole number of things that need to be done in order for a player to successfully integrate. And odds are that the more time you give players to play together, the better they're going to be. Some guys come in, hit the ground running, but more often than not, people need time to adjust. And we've consistently made these mistakes. We don't give our signings enough time to bed in, and then we're just playing catch up for the first half of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And none of the top, you guys got none of the top targets as well. I mean, none of the guys that you were initially linked with. I mean, all these guys seem like your second, third, maybe fourth, even kind of targets that you guys have managed to get on deadline day. A lot of scramble, just looked like a lot of panic buys. Yes, you guys got 3 or 4 guys, but it all seemed, I mean, an unknown defender from some unknown team for 4 million, I believe that you guys got. I just don't even, I never heard of him.
And he goes into the under 18s. He's not even going into the main squad. They bought him for the under 18s, and they announced him like a main squad player, right? And just to jump off from what Zohar was saying, I think the transfer is like one level of the club where we're having issues because we haven't gotten like our first choice in a while. But that stems from the fact that Woodward does not have good football business. He might be a good businessman. He might be a great marketer. He might be raising the value of the club commercially. Jersey sales must be off the roof, right? But you have to remember that performance and brand are intertwined in football, right? You have a great brand because you play great football. In times of rough patches, brand might carry you financially and support you to like maybe buy players to revamp your team. But look at Liverpool. They were bought by an owner who had experience in sports. They owned the Boston Red Sox. I think they owned one more team. I'm forgetting which sport, but they had a plan and they stuck to it. Klopp was not successful from the beginning. Like the first couple of seasons, it's like, yeah, Klopp, this heavy metal, like when I think he trumped Wenger in one match and stuff like that, right? But they had a long-term plan, which United used to do. But because of this pressure, like to perform, there's just I feel there's no emphasis on football anymore. I think it's all about short fixes to make sure that the brand survives. And that's Woodward for me. If you want to personify him, that doesn't work. Football has to be at the heart of the club for it to succeed, not making money, right? So I don't know, like I could go on forever on that, but like eventually if you keep playing like this, you're not going to have jerseys to sell because like why would you want to buy a United jersey, right? So
yeah, I think we wrapped up a lot. There's a lot to talk about. Thank you so much for joining me. Any last thoughts, guys? I think we talked about everything, but any last thoughts? Don?
I mean, the only shining light in probably your guys' day would have been the Liverpool thrashing as well. I mean,
that is the pain. That is the pain.
I love this game.
I was gonna bring that up just to all my Liverpool fans. Like we conceded less goals, so have fun. And we
they had one more person, and they were playing a lesser team as well.
Yeah, it was a very good banter. A lot of Liverpool fans were bantering me, and then after 2 hours, I didn't see them. I couldn't find them anyway. So that was a lot of fun.
Deactivated accounts and radio silence.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
But just want to say that
shut up, you. Yo, cut his mic.
But yeah, I mean, Arsenal, to be honest, just to end off, Arsenal are looking good. They bought the Thomas Partey just now, the deadline, just before the deadline. So I think I'll wrap up with that to keep Don happy, my co-host happy. But thank you guys for joining me, and hopefully see you next week. Take care.
Take it easy, man.